Welcome to Design Domination, where you'll gain confidence, clarity, and a competitive edge in a crowded marketplace so you can dominate your competition. Hi, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Colleen Grotzer, and in this episode of Design Domination, I'm talking about why designers need their own website. This is something I see designers talking about so much in online design groups. Is having a website worth it? Where should I create my website? Where should I post my portfolio online? And you know, a lot of designers will throw their work up on these popular portfolio platforms in hopes of getting work that way. But there are so many issues with this approach. So I'm going to get into many reasons why designers need an actual website of their own. So stick around to find out what to do instead of just using a portfolio website and why. Many graphic designers and web designers will post their work on platforms such as Upwork, Behance, Adobe Portfolio, or Dribbble. But if you're serious about building a freelance design business for yourself, then you really should have your own website. One reason is control, okay? Because when you have your website on another platform that you don't own, and it's not your own website, then you don't control that platform. You don't have any control over it, right? So like Upwork, Behance, Adobe Portfolio, or Dribbble, for example. And then the other thing is longevity. I mean, any of those platforms could go away at any time. And then with that goes your business. Remember Elance? When you use a job or portfolio site, you cannot change the design or rearrange where things are shown because they have a templated look and you just upload your content to them. And when you have your work on a job or a portfolio site and not your own website, you don't have any control over the domain unless it actually allows you to connect your own custom domain to it. And it's important to be able to control the domain because that's the link that you use in your marketing. You send it to prospects and clients over and over again. And if you give out the link to your website for years, it's out there in social media posts, maybe in print materials such as business cards or postcards, and it's really hard to replace that later on. And also, a custom domain name is usually more professional sounding, easier to remember, and easier to type in. GrotzerGraphics.com, for example, is much better than ColleenGrotzer.myportfolio.com, right? Now, if you one day decide not to have your portfolio anymore on a portfolio site, somebody could go to that link later and then they'll end up getting an error page, and will they know how to find you then? Maybe, maybe not, right? But it's a missed opportunity. Now, another thing is that if you do have your own website and it's on a platform such as Weebly or Wix, you can't take your website with you if you decide to go to another website host or another platform later. So all the work that you put into putting up the website and marketing that domain all over the place will have to be redone later when you move. And when you leave and that domain changes to no longer have like Wix or Weebly in the name or whatever it is, you have to put in a lot of work to make sure that clients know the new URL and stop using the old one. Now, you can still have an account on a job or a portfolio platform to kind of give a taste of your work and get yourself out there a bit, but having your own website allows you that flexibility with the marketing. Okay, another thing is speed. So if you use a job or portfolio site, you have no control at all over how fast that's going to load. And if you're using a platform such as Wix or Weebly, you may not have any control over how fast it loads either, right? And if it loads slowly, a prospective client may not wait around and they might just go elsewhere. But if your website's on a platform that you can control, such as WordPress, then you can take measures yourself to speed up your website, right? You could find a faster web host, or you could, install a caching or an image compression plugin, for example. Now, the other thing is that if you have your own website where you can have a blog and services pages and portfolio pages with case studies, then it helps with search engine optimization, SEO. And that means that you're more likely to be found through an online search for a particular type of work or from being in a certain geographic location. And so that actually helps draw potential clients to you organically, meaning free. Now, that's quite different from a job platform where a client might go searching for a designer. You're at that platform's mercy for how you come up in the search results. And if you're on page 5 or 10, will a potential client even see your profile? Now, when you have your own website, it also becomes the central hub for where potential clients and existing clients can find you, right? Because it's going to house your contact information and your social media links. And that means that whenever you send out an email or you post on social media, that everything leads back to your website. And anytime you get people to your website, it helps your SEO and it's getting people onto your site, right? That's what you always want to be doing, because once they're there, they might see your new projects or your new blog post and then contact you about potential work. So it keeps them reminded of you. So when the next project comes along, they will remember to get in touch. Now, your choice of platform can also affect a potential client's perception of you, and that relates to your marketing. Having your own website with a custom domain name builds trust because it shows that you've made an investment into your business and that you're serious about it, and that you're not a fly-by-night freelancer that may not get back to them. And that means potential clients will take you more seriously. Now, another thing to think about is that when you send potential clients to a portfolio platform such as Behance, Adobe Portfolio, or Dribbble, you're also sending them to where a sea of other designers are. So they could easily get distracted and go searching for another designer there. So you're actually putting yourself right there in front of the competition. Now, something else to think about is, where does your ideal client go to look for the type of work that you do? Your ideal client may not be going to a portfolio site to look for a designer. I know for the type of work that I do with publications and with accessibility, they're not going there. So unless your ideal client would go to a portfolio site to look for a designer, then you're not likely to get work from that type of site. Now, another thing is that when you have your own website, you can use that to build authority. So you can add whatever content you like. You can place it wherever you like. You can add case studies. You can have a blog. You can also showcase your unique value proposition, what you do and who you do it for. And then you can highlight certain design projects that you want people to see. Clients will also be able to find out more about your process and doing business with you, and they can see testimonials from other clients. You can use your website to build an email list by offering a helpful free resource to clients. But when you use a job or a portfolio site, you don't have the option to add any additional functionality or any integrations that you might want. For instance, you might want to sell a product, or you might want to integrate MailerLite or MailChimp with your website so that you can capture leads and have clients sign up for your email list. And that's important because when someone leaves your site, you want to be able to contact them or market to them later. And you can't do that on a job or a portfolio site. Okay, so I hope this has helped you decide that having a website is worth it and where to put your portfolio online. Different website platforms have their place in the market, especially if you're a student just starting out your freelance business, and also based on your web development skills. But just keep in mind the pros and cons to each type and think about the long term as well. If you want to find out what to include in your portfolio website, check out episode 52, 17 Essential Elements for an Effective Portfolio Website. If this content was helpful, you can support the podcast by buying me a coffee. It might actually end up being a glass of wine or some tea, but you could go to buymeacoffee.com/creativebooth.